And so I really want to give you a warm welcome. My name is Larry Fillion, and I have the privilege of serving as the Associate Dean for Enrollment Management and Student Success. Very long title. It just simply means that I'm the Dean that is responsible for your experience here, and I look forward to working with you over the next few years as you pursue your master's degrees. So congratulations. Give yourselves a hand for being here. We're very excited to embark upon this journey with you. And before I get started with my remarks, I actually wanted to introduce to you some of your academic deans who are going to be here joining us, and you'll be able to spend some more time with them in your breakout session. So I want to start off with my colleague, Dr. Martin Ehrig from the Division of Programs and Business. Woo! Dr. Mark Norman, who is our Associate Dean in our Schack Institute of Real Estate. And Dean Andrea Chambers, who is our Associate Dean for our Center for Applied Liberal Arts and Publishing. So really what I wanted to do first is give you a welcome from our Dean. Unfortunately, our Dean is traveling right now, and she wanted me to share with you her sincere regrets for not being here. She recorded a pretty amazing video, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing that with you once we get our technology situation worked through. So I appreciate your patience on that. We actually also are live streaming this to all corners of the world, and we have lots of folks that are online who are joining us. And so for those folks, what we are going to be doing is if you do have any questions for us, please do enter in the Q&A any questions, and we will go ahead and get to you. And then we also at some point will be able to invite those that are physically present to join us, and we have some mics here in the hallway to help. And something is happening. I can speak from this. Okay. All right. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what is orientation. I assume that most of you have had an orientation experience. But to me, an orientation is an experience where essentially you meet a bunch of people that will be one of three things. They will either be your friend for the entirety of your life or your graduate school experience. You will never talk to them again. Or they'll end up being your life partner. I can't begin to tell you how often I have actually heard of marriages that start at orientation, so no pressure. It's a place where we will give you lots of information, all right? You may not remember a lot of it, but there are two things that I want you to remember as you leave orientation. The first of which is we are here to help you, all right? It is our job to help you get through this program. We want to work with you to be able to have the most successful experience for you possible. So please do reach out if you are experiencing any challenges, or if you're not experiencing challenges but want to share your experience with us. Please, we are your home away from home, and we want to help support you through this experience. So what is grad school all about, right? And so I think that we have, I sort of was thinking about this and thinking about my grad school days. What is graduate school really about? And I sort of have this, this might be the same for you as it was for me. Oh, I'm working. Okay. Thank you. All right, that's better. Thank you. And so 30% is really the school experience, right? You're going to be going to lots of classes. You're going to be doing lots of papers. You're going to be taking exams. You're going to be, working with your faculty members. But 70% of it is really other stuff that happens outside of the classroom, stuff that happens within New York City, stuff that happens as you travel the United States, for those of you that might be joining us from abroad. But yet, the 30% needs to be your number one priority. So I would really encourage you to not lose sight of that 30%. It's going to be really critical. Just like it is with undergraduate school, the better you do, the more opportunities that will be presented to you. And so I really encourage you to focus on ensuring that school is your number one priority. We in the School of Professional Studies are all about jobs. And so I really want you to especially focus on the end goal, right? So you are here to study an industry. You're here to study a business vertical. And so I really want you to focus on that end goal and spend a lot of time networking amongst yourselves. You'll have an opportunity to do that tonight. Network with your faculty, network with your peers, and network with our industry leaders. And so Diana, who's going to be joining us from the Wasserman Center for Career Development, we have a whole staff that's really designed to help you to maximize your career development strategy. So really do focus on that. So I, again, was thinking about my time at the University of Texas. You might sense a Southern twang. These next years are really going to be the fastest of your life, okay? And so I would really encourage you to make the most of it. Make the most of New York City, make the most of America, make the most of your classes and your program. And so it's going to go by like a flash, in a flash of light. Leverage the city. You're studying in one of the most amazing places in the world. I would really encourage you to immerse yourself in the city. I have a neighbor. This is an interesting story. He's 75 years old and he has never left New York City, never left. So it is entirely possible for you to be within this bubble that we call New York and find everything that you could possibly want or need. But I think that that's actually, a shame. This country has amazing things to offer. I would encourage you to explore it and make some really great friends along the way. So a couple of things that just some advice that I would give to you. Embrace what you can't control. So you're going to be in a situation where something happens and it's going to be like, gosh, I don't know what's going on. Embrace it. Everything is a learning experience. Everything will prepare you for what comes after this. I also want to sort of have you think about, there are some things that we can't control in our lives. And, and I really encourage you to embrace them as your identity. It could be your age, could be your family, your gender identity, and so forth. But here are some of the things that you can control. And I'd really encourage you to focus on the things that you can control. And those are how you treat others, how you treat yourself, your organizational style. I am not the most organized person. I admit that. I have to work really hard to stay on top of that. Really focus on the things that you can control as opposed to the things that you can't. We talk a lot about designing your life within the school. And what I think is really important, and the dean wanted me to convey to you that she also feels is very important, is that you really define your work and worldview. This is the opportunity to do that, and the opportunity to really structure how you want to design your life. You're an architect of your own journey. So one of the things that you can talk about is identify, list out your passions, list out the things that you want to do, that you're really interested in, that you're really excited about. And then as you think about, maybe I want to be a marketer, maybe I want to be a storyteller, maybe I want to be the next, I don't know, reality TV star, maybe I want to be this. And then essentially design those lives. Like, how do you think that someone who was on the Real Housewives of New Jersey got there? Okay, so you can think about how did they get to that point, and think about how you can design that. And then essentially with design thinking, you're going to prototype. So I've always wanted to be, for example, Larry Fillion. I've always wanted to be a writer. And so how could I prototype a way to be a good writer? And so you think about the training involved and so forth. And then you try it. It's all about taking that first step. We talk a lot about investing in harvesting within our school, and this is really based upon, this design your life thinking. And so there are probably lots of things that you all are quite good at. So it could be you're a great athlete, you're a great painter, you can design a PowerPoint presentation like no other. Clearly, I don't have that gift, but so that's called, and being able to leverage that expertise is called harvesting. So it's really, really great because it's something that you're really good at, but we also encourage you to do something called investing. So this is planting those seeds to develop those new skills. So maybe you always wanted to be a potter and you want to, really start those skills. Take that step. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you can go from an investor to a harvester. And by the time you're done with us, you'll be an amazing potter. Okay. So please try this experiment and I think you'll definitely be successful. Please don't try to do everything at once. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people do is they come here and they want to just do everything. You're going to burn yourself out by doing that, and you're going to be doing a lot of different things, but you're not going to do one thing well. So really try to pick a couple things that you really want to invest your time in, and we can certainly help you do that. You're going to hear a lot from our student leaders today, and they're going to tell you about opportunities for you to engage within our school. And I'd really encourage you to pick one or two things, not 7 things. And I actually, after I'm done with this, if we could go back to show the welcome from the dean, that would be great. And so I wanted to put this up here. This is a photo of me. I call this my funeral director headshot, but you can certainly QR code me. I do have virtual office hours on Tuesdays, 12:30 to 1:30. If that time does not work for you, then we can find some time. Again, I'm here to help you try to figure out the best pathway if you're experiencing challenges, or if you ever just want to stop by and chat. I look forward to networking with you all. Please add me on LinkedIn. We love LinkedIn at SPS, and would love to be able to be connected with you.
Congratulations on your admission to NYU School of Professional Studies Spring Graduate Program. I wanted to reach out and extend my heartfelt congratulations on starting your degree here at SPS. This is the beginning of a whole new chapter in your life, personally and professionally. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many students and learning about their goals and aspirations, and I cannot wait to see how you thrive here. The education you will receive at NYU SPS is truly unique. It was designed to immerse you directly in your chosen field, expose you to real-world industry best practices here in the US and around the globe, and provide the professional connections you will need to succeed in a changing and complex world. It will prepare you well for the future of work. As you take the next step in your education and in your life, I urge you to connect with your peers and professors. Take advantage of all that our institution has to offer. In closing, I want to wish you the best of luck and to express my certainty that you will go on to accomplish great things. My sincere congratulations on this major milestone in your education and in your life. Never forget, we are SPS.
So I actually want to introduce my colleague, Dr. Christian Busch, who's going to be talking with you about serendipity. Just a brief bio, Professor Busch directs the Global Economy Concentration at the SPS Center for Global Affairs and teaches on purpose-driven leadership, innovation, and serendipity. He is the best-selling author of The Serendipity Mindset, The Art and Science of Creating Good Luck, which Arianna Huffington describes as a, quote, wise, exciting, and life-changing book. And that, according to the former Unilever CEO, Paul Pullman, provides excellent practical guidance for all. Professor Busch is a visiting fellow at the London School of Economics and previously co-founded Leaders on Purpose, an organization convening impact-driven Fortune 500 CEOs, and the Sandbox Network, a community-based incubator for young innovators. He also co-directed LSE's Social Innovation Lab. Christian is a member of the World Economic Forum's Expert Forum, a fellow of the Royal Society of Arts, and on the Thinkers 50 list of the 30 management thinkers most likely to shape the future. But his new favorite title is Dad. So, Christian.
Thank you so much, Dean Fillion, for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, good afternoon. It is wonderful to be here with you today. And I'd like to take you on a journey of exploring how you can create your own good luck here at SPS and beyond. Before doing that, first, a very huge congratulations. You made it into one of the most outstanding institutions in the world, and most importantly, into one of the most outstanding communities. And you will see that a lot of the value that you gain here doesn't only come from the knowledge, but from the community. And hopefully, as Dean Fillion said, a lot of the people you meet today hopefully will become your friends forever. So hopefully you'll go with this open mind into the day today. NYU SPS is what you make of it. And you'll see that some people will go out and say, oh my God, this completely changed my life and I achieved so many things. And others might say, oh, it could have been more. And one of the key reasons is what kind of mindset you do. And that's what I'm going to take with you and talk with you about today. Before I start talking about how you can make the best of it, a brief question to you in the room. Who of you considers yourself to be a lucky person? Please raise your hand. Who of you considers yourself to be a lucky person? Okay, quite lucky room, right? Yeah, so maybe 60%, 60-ish% lucky. Who of you kind of somewhat lucky, sometimes not so lucky? Yeah, okay. No worries, I won't ask the unlucky ones. I'll stay with that. But so the reason I'm asking you is, I'll get back to that later, that those people who consider themselves to be lucky tend to be luckier in the future, not because of some kind of abracadabra falling from the sky, but because of the kind of approach that you use to life. And I'll talk much more about this later on. For now, to give you a bit of context, I'm made in Germany in 1984. Probably 9 months before that, but that's when I was born. And, I used to be that kid. I was thrown out of school, had to repeat a year, probably held the unofficial world record once I got a car of how many dustbins you can knock over on your way to school when you're driving. And then one day, when I was 18 years old in 2004, I wasn't so lucky anymore. And I crashed into 4 parked cars, all cars completely destroyed, including my own. And I won't forget the policeman who came to the scene, and he was like, oh my God, he's still alive. And that idea that I was supposed to be dead, that stuck with me. And I asked myself all these weird questions. If I would have died, Who would have come to my funeral? Who would have actually cared? Was it all worth it? And at that point, I had mostly depressing answers. And so it took me on this intense search for meaning, trying to figure out what is life all about. And I started reading this amazing book. I reread it in the pandemic. I had a severe form of COVID, and I highly recommend it for any kind of crisis situation. Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, which is all about how do you find meaning in crisis? How do you find something in any kind of situation? How you construct meaning into a situation? And when I read that book, I realized that what gives me a lot of meaning is connecting ideas, connecting people, and the sparks that come from that. And so it took me on a journey as entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, and later into academia. And what I found fascinating on this journey is that the most exciting, purpose-driven people, they seem to have something in common, which is that they intuitively cultivate serendipity. They intuitively create a little bit more luck than others. And so that's really what I want to share with you today. What can we learn from them for your life here at SPS and beyond? Now, this is kind of, what could have been, right, on the gravestone. Unfortunately, it gave me a new life and a new lease on life. And so what I found interesting is, I grew up in Germany. We love planning, right? We love this idea that you can map everything out, and then real life happens, right? And real life is more like a squiggle, right? Real life has twists and turns. And the question becomes, how do we make the best out of the unexpected, right? Expect the unexpected. There's always some sort of technology, something that might not work, right? And so it's always something that might happen. And the question is, how do we build a muscle for that? How do we build a muscle for the unexpected and create our own good luck? Now, when I talk about serendipity, what do I mean? What is that kind of, good luck? This is the quintessential coffee shop example. Imagine you have, slightly erratic hand movements like I do. Then you spill a lot of coffee. And so imagine you spill coffee over someone next to you, maybe today, right? And and I don't want you to spill coffee now. This story will end well, but obviously you shouldn't use that as a strategy. It's just an example. But imagine you spill coffee over someone, and that someone looks at you slightly annoyedly, but you sense there might be something there. You don't know what it is. You just sense there might be something there. And now you have a couple of options, right? One option is you just say, I'm so sorry. You walk outside and you think, what could have happened had I spoken with that person? Option number two, you start a conversation and that person turns out to become your life partner, the love of your life, your co-founder, you name it. The point is that at every conference you go to, you might bump into the star speaker, right? And then you might either react to that and do something with that unexpected moment, or you might walk out and think, what could have happened? This is another example, Estrada-Watson. She studied international relations, and she always thought, okay, this is the field I'm going to go into. And then one day she read Cosmopolitan magazine, and Cosmopolitan magazine had a competition that people could interview Chris Eubank, who used to be the box world champion at that point, and she won that competition. So she interviewed him for the magazine, and during the interview, he said, you know what? I like you. I like your style. You're like an extremely good communicator. I want you to run my PR. And she was like, what do I know about PR? And he was like, no, you'll learn it. I like you'll do it. She became one of the most outstanding PR professionals. She just became knighted in the United Kingdom and became an absolute rock star. And that's how a lot of times jobs unfold, right? That it's something you might not even have on the radar, and it comes out of conversation. Any ideas what this might be here? Any ideas? Yeah, please shout. Washing machine, yeah, close. What else? Chicken fryer. Any other ideas? So this is a sweet potato washing machine. And so the sweet potato washing machine, a company in China called Haier. Anyone knows Haier? Yeah, in Qingdao. And so Haier is one of the largest white goods producers in the world. They produce washing machines, refrigerators, and so on. And one day they received calls from farmers. And the farmers told them, your crappy washing machine is always breaking down. Why is the washing machine breaking down? Well, we're trying to wash our potatoes in it, and it doesn't seem to work. What would we usually do when something unexpected like this happens? We probably say, don't wash your potatoes in the washing machine. It's not made for that. That's not part of our marketing plan. They did the opposite. They said, you know what, that's unexpected, but there's probably a lot of farmers in China and in the world who have a similar problem. So why don't we build in a dirt filter and make it a potato washing machine? And that's how one of these key innovations emerged. Up to 50% of innovations emerged that way, right? Everything, penicillin, Viagra, you name it. These kind of unexpected moments where you connect the dots and do something with it. All the companies that I was ever involved in came out of serendipity. They came out of these kind of unexpected meetings and collisions. And so what we've done over the last 10 years is we mapped serendipity, hundreds of examples of what makes people successful, what makes successful innovations, successful life choices. And it's always the same process, which is very different from blind luck. Blind luck is being born into a nice family, stuff like that, right? You can't pick it, and that's where a lot of societal inequality comes from. But serendipity is smart luck. It's active luck. It's the luck you create yourself, no matter what kind of situation you're in. And it's always the same process, where there's some sort of trigger, right? Some sort of serendipity trigger. It might be farmers calling up and saying, your crappy washing machine is breaking down. It might be the unexpected coffee spill. Some sort of random moment, something unexpected. But then you have to do something with it. You have to make the accident meaningful. Or, as I'll talk about later, you can also create more meaningful accidents. And so we'll talk about this when we talk about the hook strategy. But for now, it's really about the idea that you have to connect the dots to something meaningful. It's very Viktor Frankl, right? Find meaning in a situation, especially in crisis. And then, of course, we have to have the tenacity to go through with it. It's not enough to just have the idea, right, that you could build a product. You actually need to go through with it. And that's where a lot of times serendipity doesn't work out. And serendipity is being missed because people don't have the tenacity to actually go through with it. Now, I asked you earlier, do you consider yourself to be a lucky person? The reason I asked you this is that, as I mentioned, a lot of times luckier people tend to be luckier in the future because of the way they look at life and how they see opportunities. I'll give you one example, but there's a lot of these kind of experiments. In one of the experiments, they took people who self-identify as very lucky. So people who say, good things tend to happen to me and so on. And people who self-identify as very unlucky. People who say, I'm always in accidents and so on. And they pick one of each and they say, walk down the street, go into a coffee shop, grab a coffee, sit down, and then we'll have our conversation. What they don't tell them is that there's hidden cameras alongside the street and inside the coffee shop. There's money placed right in front of the coffee shop door, money notes, and inside the coffee shop, there's one empty chair next to this extremely successful businessman who can make big dreams happen. Now, the lucky person walks down the street, sees the 5-pound note, picks it up, goes inside the shop, orders a coffee, and sits next to the businessman. They have a conversation and exchange business cards, and potentially an opportunity comes out of it. We don't know that part. The unlucky person walks down the street, steps over the 5-pound note, so doesn't see it, goes inside the shop, orders the coffee, sits next to the businessman, ignores the businessman, and that's it. Now, at the end of the day, they ask both people, how was your day today? And so the lucky person says, well, it was amazing. I found money in the street, made a new friend, and potentially a new opportunity comes of it. The unlucky person just says, well, nothing really happened. And you know what's fascinating is this kind of, once you open your eyes to the unexpected, that every conversation, everything you see could be an opportunity for serendipity, you realize that it starts to happen more and more and more. Funny enough, kids find more money in the streets as a tendency than parents, right? Because they don't expect it to not be there. As adults, we don't expect money to be in the street, so we don't see it, right? People drop a lot of pennies. I find a lot of pennies in the street. So it doesn't really help my lifestyle, unfortunately. But I can tell you there is money in the street once you start looking for it. The point is the second thing, right? It also helps to actually talk with people, right? Talking with a businessman. But there's a lot of hope for introverts. I'm a closet introvert. I'm the kind of person, no problem speaking in front of hundreds of people. And then, oh my God, I need time on the toilet to recover and kind of like, get the battery back. And so it's really like a lot of times for me, serendipity comes from silent sources. It comes from reading a book and thinking, oh my God, this could be a podcast idea. It comes from watching a movie and thinking, oh my God, this could be a new lecture I could give, right? So it's this idea of we can constantly connect the dots, especially also out of silent sources. And so you can find money in the street, even if you're not an extrovert. Now, I'll talk about strategies to make serendipity happen at NYU SPS. Before I do this, I want to get a feeling for who's in the room. I know that a lot of groups are not here today, so please cheer for them a little also. But for now, let's see who of you is here from the division programs in business. Please cheer. All right. Yeah. Shall we try that again? All right. Who's here? Cheer. Division of business. Who's here? Yeah. All right. Wonderful. The wonderful dean, as mentioned, Martin Erik here, fantastic person. Highly recommend to reach out to him. He's serendipity in action. Now, Center for Global Affairs. Who's here? Yeah, wonderful. Great. We have the wonderful academic director and our wonderful faculty here. Jens, I see in the background, and Sylvia Meyer, the academic director. Fantastic faculty, highly recommend, if you're not in there, also to take courses, of course, over there. Then Center for Publishing and Applied Liberal Arts, who's here? Yeah, wonderful. Angela Chambers is here, who has been connecting dots for a long time in publishing and other areas. Highly recommend to reach out with her. She makes a lot of magic happen for her students, especially in terms of jobs, as I've seen people go places. Division of Applied Undergraduate Studies, I don't think are here today, because this is postgrad today. Tisch Center of Hospitality, who's here? Right, and when people are clapping, take it as a nudge also that you see who your peers are, right? But of course, also you want to connect across different groups. Tisch Institute of Global Sport, who's here? Yeah, we have some sporty people. And Schack Institute of Real Estate, who's here? Yeah, all right. I see Mark Norman is here, the wonderful dean of the Tisch Institute. I think you have, Martin and you probably have the majority here in the room if we would make a vote now. So any vote you want to call ever at SPS, now would be your time. Now you have the majority of students. But the key thing here is, I'm just saying this, I just want to get you into the mode of, these will be your peers in your programs, but importantly, connect across different centers, across different divisions, because amongst you, you have it all set. Like you literally have real estate people who can help you, find your next flat. You have people in publishing who help you publish your next book. So those are the kind of people across different divisions who can really be with you on your journey. So please do connect across different groups. Use the crazy German here as an excuse to just connect with everyone you feel you want to connect with. Key is here, knowledge isn't everything. You'll learn a lot here, but it's really a lot about mindset and networks, and really kind of develop those networks amongst each other. There's fantastic, especially also adjunct faculty here. There's a lot of adjunct instructors who will come right out of business, teach you a course, connect with them, add them on LinkedIn, and then follow them. It makes it much easier to later ask for a favor, right? Once you go for a job or something, you already want to have established warm relationships. You don't want to be the person who's just transactional. Dean and relevant leaders here, they have that kind of serendipity mindset. You will see Dean Kamath when she's back. She's a fantastic lateral thinker. She's always wanting to connect dots and help out. So I highly recommend put yourself on her radar. She can obviously move a lot of mountains, as can the associate deans. And most importantly, as I mentioned, your friends for life are in this room. So to close this, what are some strategies that you can all use to have more serendipity here and beyond? One of my absolute favorites is the hook strategy. The hook strategy is all about this idea that you can bring relevant talking points, relevant points into every conversation. If someone asks you, right, what do you study, what do you do? It's an opportunity for you to not just answer something like, I'm studying X, Y, Z, but to answer something like, I'm studying real estate, but what I always wanted to do is to really explore black holes in the universe and perhaps become a musician, right? The point here is what you want to do is you want to open yourself up to other people that they can say, oh my God, such a coincidence. My sister has a musician school in New York. You should come by. Oh my God, such a coincidence. We've always kind of worked with people who can actually, develop XYZ area you're interested in. I'll put you in touch. So I'm a big fan of Ollie Barrett, who does that. He's an entrepreneur in London, also one of those knighted people. And he essentially, if you would ask him, what do you do at a conference? He would always say something like, I'm an entrepreneur, recently started reading the philosophy of science, but what I'm really excited about is playing the piano. And the amount of times people say, oh my God, such a coincidence, we're hosting piano sessions, come by, and so on, is incredible. So again, use every conversation to see the couple of dots, and you will see that a lot of people might have more in common with you than you might think they have. Same with how you ask questions, right? Do you ask people just, what do you do? Or do you ask them, hey, what brought you here? Like, what is it that you want to do here? To really understand more about their motivations, what drives them, so that you really also understand who could be really aligned with your values and other means. At the mixers later, that might be a nice opportunity to try out questions you feel most comfortable with, right? There's questions for everyone. And so what are a couple of ways you can cultivate serendipity here at SPS? One way is really the idea to look at how you can ask those questions differently. But also, develop a key curiosity. I think Dean Fillion said it beautifully, like try to figure out what are the kind of curiosities you have. I think there's a lot of pressure sometimes to find like a passion. And so a really great way, and I think that goes along the lines that the Dean mentioned, is to really kind of figure out like what are things that you're interested in and exploring this. I know that a lot of departments are set up in a way where you can pick after and after the courses so that it allows you to rubber stamp forward into what you're most interested in. You don't have to have it all figured out. And most importantly, you don't have to pretend it, because everyone knows, everyone who comes here is in some sort of transition. So you might as well directly kind of be open with it. Taking on multiplier roles is a very effective way, right? Becoming vice president of XYZ Society, always a great way to then write to the CEO of Goldman Sachs and say, hey, I'm running the XYZ Society. We'd love to have you come on campus for a speech. Do you want to come? And surprisingly, if you write to 10 exciting people, 2 or 3 of them write back, and you will see how much people love to speak at universities, actually. And so it's a great way for you to contribute to the society and to NYU, but also for you to build your own personal networks that are at a level that alone you probably couldn't, without the affiliation of NYU, you probably couldn't build them that way. And then, of course, focus on meaningful relationships. I think there's a lot of pressure on you, right, to get a job, do this. So you might be in a quite transactional, field sometimes. But I can tell you, the most beautiful things will happen in 10 years when you build a real big business, and then you're like, you know what, that person I met in orientation, they were really cool in XYZ area I want to go into. Let me give them a call. And so really kind of building these meaningful relationships over time as well, and not being too transactional, is really something that you will see in the long run is not only much more beautiful and nourishing, but also something that will help you much more in your own life. Most importantly, always do it with guest speakers, right? Every guest speaker you see at SPS, I would always add them on LinkedIn. I would always say, I'm so sorry I couldn't come to your event, but I'd love to keep in touch. I've heard it was great. The point is like really building your own network a little bit already now versus when you will need it. And so often serendipity will then come from the most unexpected of places. So to wrap this up, one of the things that I found most interesting is I work a lot with senior leaders, CEOs of big companies, politicians, and so on. And it's incredible that the most interesting people are the ones who have a lot of fears, right? So they might have a lot of imposter syndrome, this idea that people will figure out that they're not as good as people think they are, right? Especially a lot of politicians, they might feel, oh, I pretend I know everything, but actually, what do I know? And so the fascinating thing is, and maybe question in the room, who of you thinks you have imposter syndrome? Please, hands up. Who of you? Yeah, thank you for your honesty. I appreciate it. A lot of you who didn't raise the hands, might not have realized it yet, and it might come over time, or you might not have it. But the point is, the reason I'm asking you is you already now saw, right, that those brave ones who raised your hands is already probably 1/4 of the room, right? And I bet you probably over 50% in this room have imposter syndrome, which means it is there as a fear. And the question is, what do you do with it, right? I have the same, but the question is, how do you channel it? Do you let it hold you back, or do you do something with it? And one thing that I found extremely useful is, when you think back on your life, when serendipity could have happened, but it didn't, right? Think about that. Maybe you were in a meeting, a society meeting, and you had this amazing idea, but you didn't bring it up, right? Because you didn't feel ready, worthy, whatever it is. You bumped into the person, you didn't speak with them. Really thinking about what is the pattern there that holds you back, and working on those underlying fears. And if you have, for example, a fear of rejection, right, that I think a lot of us might have, I find it extremely useful to not think about the worst case of what happens if you do it, right? I think that's a lot of times the framing. You think the worst case of talking with someone is rejection, right? Those kind of things. But I tell you, the worst case that happens is the regrets of not having done it, walking around and thinking what could have happened had I brought up the idea, had I spoken to the person, and so on. And that reframing, actually, then you will realize, when you'll be on your deathbed one day, as someone who was twice already, I can tell you, when you'll be on your deathbed, you regret the things less that you did, but more the things you didn't do, right? And so it's really kind of getting into the mindset of what are the things I would regret not doing, and using that as a framing. It's very Mark Twain to do that. Highly recommend it. So to wrap this up, it's really kind of overcoming those biases. I highly recommend to connect with people. Wasserman Center, fantastic resources here, and really focusing on what's controllable, right? I think Dean Fillion made this brilliant point. There's so many things you can't control. That gives us a lot of anxiety, right? That's where meditation and everything comes in. I highly recommend it. But then focusing on the things we can control and really have that agency, that's really what it's all about. And so really being open to those unexpected things. And so I want to close with one of my favorite quotes by Margaret Mead, the wonderful cultural anthropologist, who used to say that you should never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, because indeed is the only thing that ever has. We always think, oh, it needs so many people to change X, Y, Z things. No, it really doesn't. Like all these new tech companies that you're seeing, it's 2 or 3 kids who were sitting somewhere and did a solution and then it worked, right? The point is, when you have a great idea, when you want to do something in the world, never in the history of mankind has it been so straightforward to scale that up, to have a real impact, especially with the people that are in this room, because you have technology and so on at your disposal. And so I just, hope for everyone in this room that you make the best out of your time here. Please consider us a resource, all the wonderful deans, faculty, adjunct faculty. We really want to be part of your journey. So it's not only content, it's also really building those networks. With this, thank you so much, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Busch. That was awesome. We have a couple slides, but if we need to keep moving without them, we'll be okay. So I think I'll just start. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Diana DiCubelis. I'm the Associate Director of the SPS Wasserman Career Center, and excited to see you all here. Really looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you at the Career Center. Fun fact about me, I'm one of those people who met their spouse their first week at NYU. A word to the wise, don't go by first impressions, because if I had done that, I wouldn't be able to say that. I'm a graduate of the Tisch School of the Arts and delighted to be here. I'm also on the Dean Scholars Peer Mentor Committee, and I'm here to talk to you about that today. And we're very lucky to have some of our Dean Scholars here. These are our outstanding, empathetic, accomplished student leaders who head the Dean Scholars program and serve as peer mentors. What exactly is a peer mentor at SPS? A peer mentor is a person that you can turn to at any stage of your academic career if you're having any sort of issue or experience related to your journey at SPS. That's a little vague. Let's get a little more specific. It's a person who has successfully navigated NYU and SPS, has a lot of wisdom and life experience to share, is deeply committed to the success of all students, and generally wants to be helpful. Dean Scholars are available to meet one-on-one. They're also available for drop-in office hours. That's going to be something new that we offer. And you can connect with your scholars casually via text, or you can sit down and have coffee. And whether you have a question about academic support resources, or I should actually probably do that. Academic support resources, or you're having issues with your housing, or you're not sure where is a good place to study on campus, or where the best dorm food is. There's nothing too small or too great that you can connect with your scholars on. So I'm just going to take a minute and introduce the scholars who are with us. First, we have Emily Peacock, and she is with Global Gender Studies student at CGA. Hello. Warm welcome. Next to her, Sandra Khalil, and Sandra is an MS candidate in global security, conflict, and cybercrime at CGA. And next to Sandra, I'd like to introduce Louis Reckford. He's also a CGA MS Global Affairs student. And right here, we have Kimmy Coleman, and Kimmy is in DPB in the Integrated Marketing Program. And next to Kimmy is Catalina Mejia, and Catalina is also in DPB, but she is in Public Relations and Corporate Communications. So with this QR code, that will take you to the sign up. It takes just a minute to give us your information. We'll follow up. This QR code will also be included in an email following our presentation today. I'm also going to be here. I have the QR code on my phone, so if you're super eager, you can come and see me as well. And I think with that, I'm going to invite Catalina to talk about student involvement. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you at Wasserman.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Catalina Mejia, and in addition to being a Dean Scholar, I'm actually also the president of the Graduate Student Council, originally from Colombia, but I was raised in the DC area, and I was in your shoes a little under 2 years ago. So welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. Before we get started, I saw some of you guys take your phones out. Keep them out. You're going to need them for this presentation, okay? First comes a video, and then we'll get into more information.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Bienvenidos.
Hola.
مرحبا.
你好. 好，欢迎加入 SPS。
Namaste.
Namaste, selamat datang.
Halo, selamat datang.
Hey Martin,
Hey Catalina.
have you ever heard so many languages all at once?
Never before.
I think it's time we show them who we are
Yes, let's take them back.
so they can see their future.
25 student clubs and committees.
Over 100 events.
Whopping $7,000 raised.
The past year alone,
Has been amazing.
it was so great meeting people from all across the globe.
I think it's time we hear from some of them.
Joining the clubs has definitely helped me break out of my shell and meet so many wonderful people.
Make the most amazing friends.
It makes me more confident and much stronger.
Allowing me to be confident in my decision making at NYU SPS.
Let me connect with people from many different cultures and professions.
Joining the club has helped me to become a more well-rounded person.
It helped me to get more familiar with the NYU SPS community and make new friends.
You'll have an easier time discovering your interests and opportunities.
Make NYU feel like a home away from home.
The Undergraduate Student Council Kickoff.
The Digital Production Committee Podcast Workshop.
Spirit Week.
Spirit Week.
Spirit Week because it builds community.
Global Village and Spirit Week.
Global Village.
Global Village. Winter Mix-Up.
Skating for our winter formal.
New York Marathon.
Volunteering at the New York City Marathon.
My favorite definitely should be the Global Village. We learn lots of new things and exchange different cultures at that day.
Global Village because of engagement.
It was such a success, so fun to showcase all of our cultures and where each of us come from.
My favorite is Spirit Week because we got all the fun in the whole week.
It's so thrilling to see which events are planned for the year, especially for students.
To celebrate the greatness that lies within the SPS community.
And the other one is the Spring Cruise. We interacted with so many people and there was a dance floor and we couldn't stop dancing.
Where students sail around Manhattan and enjoy the wonderful views of New York City.
I think it does help improve your public speaking.
Joining the club will definitely be a gateway to learning more about NYU, the community, and to build so many wonderful connections with faculty, staff, and alumni.
It will help you to improve your communication and leadership skills.
Enhance your resume and learn new skills.
To meet new friends and immerse in career-related activities and projects that you are passionate about.
Grow personally and professionally.
Find your home here at NYU SPS.
It will help you step out of your comfort zone, connect with more people, improve your people skills. But the most important thing is it'll make you feel like you're more part of the SPS family, which is really amazing.
Join club, having fun, and learning from each other.
It was nice meeting everyone. Good luck and see you soon.
Nos vemos en el otoño.
إن شاء الله بنشوفكم قريبا.
祝大家好运。
祝一切顺利。Adiós a todos y nos vemos en septiembre.
आप सभी से मिलने के लिए मैं बहुत उत्साहित हूँ.
See you this fall.
Boy, are they professionals?
They absolutely are.
And isn't that what we're all about?
Sure, we're professionals with different cultures, languages, and traditions.
But at the end of the day, we take care of each other.
We are one.
We are
SPS.
SPS.
SPS!
We are SPS!
We are SPS at 3! 1, 2, 3! We are SPS!
Okay, great. So I hope that got you guys excited. It is important to mention we actually, since making this video, have 2 new clubs, and that's the Metaverse Club and the Financial Planning Club. So if that interests you, feel free to see us in a little bit. So I told you guys to get your phone out. I very quickly want to see by a show of hands if any of you are interested in social media, events, raise your hands. Okay, recreation, community service. Wonderful. So starting this upcoming Monday, you can join one of our many committees. Give me a second. Here we go. Within the Graduate Student Council, we have 5 different committees. That's community service, recreation, events, digital production, and social media and graphic design. Whether you have a natural interest or already have experience in those or simply want to get more involved, this is the way to go. This is how both many of the people on my current team, as well as myself, got involved. Again, no experience needed. And those meeting times are not on here yet, but they start on Monday. Save the date. So pull out your calendar, reminder, whatever you need to do, because next Thursday, January 26th, we have the graduate student kickoff. So this is the very first social opportunity within the start of the school semester where you can come socialize, meet people both from your programs as well as across the school. Food will be served and there will be drink specials for those of you interested. So definitely we will see you there, and you can sign up for all of this via Engage. Here we go. Join a committee. So community service meets on Mondays, 11 to 12, social media and graphic design, 1 to 2 p.m. on Mondays as well. Events committee on Tuesdays from 12:30 to 1:30. And then on Wednesdays, digital production committee at 11 and recreation at 2 p.m. My biggest advice is attend all of them, see where you click in or what interests you the most, and then prioritize, but definitely, especially the first week, I would highly encourage you to attend because it gives you an opportunity to have direct involvement in the events that we as students plan for each other. Also save the date, Wednesday, February 22nd. So in the video, you might have seen us with bandanas and things like that. That's all you games. You'll learn more closer to the date, but again, you don't have to be athletic or anything like that. If you just want to be involved, that's one of the ways to do it. Global Village, one of our many favorite staple events as well. Friday, March 31st, more details to come. Spring Gala, this is our end of the year event, Saturday, April 22nd. So stay tuned and save the date. And also our first monthly meeting is 2 Fridays from now on Friday, February 3rd from 5 to 7 p.m. All are welcome. All of the student leaders, presidents, and representatives of all of our clubs will be there as well. These are just some of the many clubs that correspond to academic programs. So I mentioned again, Financial Planning Club. This is one of our newest clubs. I heard some of you from Sports Business, Hospitality, Integrated Marketing. They're all here. MSSA for management, Professional Writing, and PMSN as well. More. And then we have school-wide clubs, undergraduate and graduate. So International Club, which I actually met some of you there a couple of days ago, Metaverse Club, Rainbow Alliance, and Veterans Association. Okay, also next Thursday, you get to meet our dean and also speak to Associate Dean Larry, who spoke earlier today. A great opportunity to break the ice. And all of this, once again, can be done through Engage. You'll have everything you need there, signups, direct addresses, things like that. And on Wednesday, February 1st, here in Kimmel, we have Club Fest. Oh, okay, the NYU-wide Club Fest. However, we have made it easier for you as SPS students because the SPS Club Fest is immediately following our programming today in 7 East 12th Street. Please come. I'm being told there's swag. So if you want t-shirts, water bottles, if you want to meet myself and my team, please, please, please come. We look so much forward to meeting you all. Here we go. Club showcase. And that is it. Best of luck. If you guys see me around, please say hello or anyone on our team. We are very excited to welcome you and make this experience even better. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, Catalina. All right, well, almost there. I promise we're going to skip through this because we're running out of time. But the next piece of today's presentation, you'll get to meet with your division. And then we'll see you all, as Catalina said, at 12th Street for Fun Fest. And there's a reception. And you'll get to meet some of our other student leaders. You have some of them here, but you'll see everyone else there. So we'll see you later. Come for your t-shirt, your water bottle. Have a great evening.